frames full. And when they have about 7 or 8 frames full, you have to add another box on top. They need 2 boxes with 10 frames each to survive a winter. So they've got one now. This is just burr comb. They build it in there. I can scrape it off with my hive tool in a minute. So I think these outside frames are the 2 or 3 frames that aren't going to be full yet. I'm going to check. That one looks like it has absolutely nothing on it, which is what I would expect. And this one, also nothing. So I have 2 empty ones so far. I get many more than 2, then I probably am not quite ready to add the top. This one should be pretty full. They've got tiny amounts of beeswax that they use to stick these frames together, so yeah. So there's not a ton going on this side so far. This was a frame of comb that is from last year, so they haven't filled it up yet. But there is already comb built on it, so all they have to do is fill that up with honey. And it's not full yet, but it is built, so it doesn't count as empty. They have some good comb built here. Lots of good stuff going on here. There's some tiny little, there's larger larvae right there. Those are baby bees. And over here there's some smaller right in there. Can you see that, Jed? There's also some real tiny ones right here. So a queen bee lays an egg, and it takes about 16 days for that egg to turn into a hatched baby bee. Let's see if I can find some eggs here soon. I'm also looking for my queen. She's probably not on this frame because there's not any new eggs. Ooh, there's some interesting combs being built there. Some are a little concerning. Here you can see a bee is hatching out. A bee right here is digging his way out, a baby bee. I can tell, like, these darker bubbles, or after they cap a cell, these darker raised ones are baby bees. Sometimes you'll see lighter flat ones, and we know that those are honey. Here's some good larvae in there. Can you see that, Jed? These bees right here, you can see their bums poking up out of the air. They're gorging on honey because they think there's a forest fire. That one's looking pretty good. Let's check this frame and see what we got going on here. Oh, they've got it good and stuck. Yeah. Okay. So on the outside edge, these lighter things are honey. They've got honey on the outside edges. They're putting honey in there, but they haven't capped it yet. So they've got some honey. I still haven't seen any really young looking eggs. So I'm gonna be watching real closely for that, because that's a sign that my queen has been alive and laying eggs in the last 3 days or so. That looks pretty good. This is mostly honey. It looks like inside there you can see it kind of glistens. It's not capped honey yet. They cap it when each little tiny cell is full. They put a cap of wax-like substance on top. And these are babies. I can tell because they kind of bubble out. They're not flat like honey. Okay. This looks pretty good. This comb up in the top corner is bad comb. I should scrape it off. I might not do it right this second though. I'm still kind of watching for some eggs. I'm watching for a queen. And I'm not seeing it on this one. They are kind of quiet. There's no humming, and that's good because it means that there's a queen. If they don't have a queen, they get cranky, and you can hear that they're cranky.
What's this fuzzy stuff?
That's honey up there. You could stick your finger in there and take a big old taste of honey. There's a lot of pollen, the yellow dots in there. That's pollen. They eat pollen and honey, and nectar. It doesn't look like they're eating too much pollen right now. Sometimes earlier in the spring you can see big old pollen saddles on their knees. If I see one, I'll show you. Not too much going on here that looks terribly important. Still not seeing my queen. She'll be on one of these others, I'm sure. Last time I was in this hive, they had some empty frames on the outside edges of the hive that they weren't building comb on. So I wanted to try something called checkerboarding, which is where you put the frames that they haven't built on in towards the center to test if they'll build on it. So this is one that I put in just about a week ago, and they're not doing a ton. It still looks pretty empty. And I think they don't like it because it's plastic, so they might be a little slower about building on this. But hopefully they get to it. I don't see a queen, I don't see any eggs. They're just working on that one still, I guess. I bet I'm gonna see my queen on this frame or the next one, so I'm gonna watch real closely. They have lots of capped brood, lots of bumpy capped cells that have babies in them. They have some honey on the outside, lots of pollen right up there by my thumb. I don't see my queen yet. This is a bit concerning right here, what they're building. See, it looks like they might be trying to make a new queen. It's a bit bumpy and high. These girls are gorging on honey. I'm gonna be keeping my eye on that. Doesn't look too alarming yet, but I'll keep my eye out. Let's see what I got going on this side. I'm not seeing any young eggs, which has me a little concerned. I will try this frame. This frame, it's all wild, it's all bee-built wax. I didn't put any foundation in this one, and so my queen has loved this frame. So if I don't see any new eggs on this one, I might start to get a little concerned. I usually have seen my queen on this frame, and I'm not seeing her. Yeah, I haven't seen my queen so far today, Jed. She should be really easy to find because she's got a white dot on her. These little girls' bums up in the air here, they got their heads poked down into the honey. And lots of pollen in the bottom. No queen though, I'm a little worried. Do you see a queen, Jed? She's got a white spot on her. Poor eggs. This frame's mostly empty too, I think. Yeah. I know you guys are mad that I exist. Okay, I'm gonna check once more for my queen through all of those. I want to make sure she's okay.
Look at this bee trying to get me.
I know. They're getting mad at us. I wish I had a little more smoke. Get right up in there. You can see some tiny little white microscopic specks of rice like in the bottom of this cell. That's a brand new egg. That means that there's been a queen in here laying in the last 3 days. Here's another, some more. So that's a good sign. My queen here is marked though, so she should be easy to find. I'd really like to get eyes on her. She's got a white speck of paint on her from last time. Painted her. When bees grab legs and hold on to each other, just to try to keep themselves clustered together, it's really one of my favorite things that they do. I'm gonna push them together because I don't want to be pushed apart. And look, they're gonna chain here too, on this one when I push them together. See the chains that they're making there, trying to hold on to each other?